For you to get a good and healthy crop, how it all starts really matters. I want you to join me, see how I go about it. So how it all starts from seed, and then we get a good and healthy crop. It all starts by sowing the seeds. You can either do it on a nursery bed, but in my case here I'll be doing it in seedling trays. But today I want to try something that I've never tried before. There'll be a small twist. There's an experiment I want to try. So join me and see. Let's see how it goes. So I'll be sowing some cabbages that will be transplanting later on. To sow the seeds on the trays, you'll definitely need the trays themselves. The trays come in different sizes and shapes and sizes. So depending on the crop that you want to establish, it will determine the cell size that you're going to pick. The next, you'll also definitely require some planting media. This is where you'll be able to sow your seeds on the trays. And so in this case, there are several media that are available commercially that you can purchase from the stores. We have like cocoa peat, we have peat moss, and so many others. Here, in my case here today, I have cocoa peat that has been well cleaned and ready to use. But remember I said there's something I wanted to try out that I've never tried before. I want to use some compost that is readily available. There's that compost that I had done that is readily available here, and see whether it will be able, I can be able to establish the seeds, sow the seeds on the trays using that compost only. And if that works, then that will really be a great deal, because it will help in cutting down the costs. Remember, here our motive is to have a profitable venture. So if we can be able to reduce the costs in terms of production, well and good. So I'm going to try that one out. I'll plant some seeds using the cocoa peat, then plant others using the compost. Then we'll compare and contrast and see how it goes. Here is my compost that I'm going to be using. So for those who have not seen how I made this and would like to know how I made this compost, I'll be linking a video description I'll be linking a video on how I made this compost on the description below. You can check it out so that you can see how I came up with this very nice compost that I'm going to be using to establish the seeds. But before then, I'll be using this small piece of chicken wire. I want to sieve this compost. There you go. There we have our very nice fine compost. This is what you're going to be using to sow our seeds on the trays. So you're going to use this, and at the same time we're going to do another sample with the cocoa peat. And here we have the two planting media. We have this is the cocoa peat on one side and the compost on the other. I'll be using these planting trays that have 105 cents. So first things first, what I'll first do is top up the trays using the planting media. Then I'll put up the seeds, then cover up everything. So the initial one, I'm going to be using cocoa peat. Remember, I want to try this out. I'll do some with cocoa peat and then some with compost. And if this works, then we see how we compare the two and see which one does better, or how they compare. So this is cocoa peat. I just top up like this. The trays just like that. This cocoa peat is recycled. Probably that's why you can see some roots. I used it. This is what was left out after some transplanted some other seedlings. So instead of throwing it out, I decided to recycle it. So it's all good. Level up this, top up completely, just like that. Yeah. Top up that tray like that. and tap a little bit. Make sure it's all good. Next, I'll just put, create some holes where I'll drop in my seeds, so that I can ensure that my seeds are. You can either use this, or you can use get another tray of the same size, and then put it on top of this so that it can create some holes where you can drop in your seeds. That's how we do it, just like that, each and every cell, because we'll be dropping one seed at a per cell. Remember this, we are sowing cabbages in this. We're going to be sowing cabbages. We'll be dropping one seed per cell. So that is it. We're done. So we get our seeds now. Drop in a seed per cell. Here are the cabbage seeds that I'll be sowing. Some quite tiny seeds. These ones, some tiny seeds. So I'll be picking one by one, dropping them in the cell. So picking up one by one seed per cell. Then we can have well-established seedlings. So remember, with a good start, when the seedlings start well, the entire crop, that's the the foundation of a good and healthy crop, which will result, of course, to a bountiful harvest. So it's always good from the start to get things right. So let's go on. So that's it. The remainder, just put it back in the pack. Then I'll be planting it on later on. So next is we'll be cover this up lightly. Just a light layer on top, just like that, and level up everything like this. Just like that. So we'll go through the same process again, but this time, instead of the cocoa pit, I'm using the compost. So top up past the tray, the compost. Ensure it's all, fill up all the cells well, nicely. There. Then with a small stick or whatever tool you want to use, make some small holes where we're going to be dropping our seeds. So just like this. That is it. Just return the excess from this and then cover this up. I'm going just to do this gently, like that. Yep, that's more like it. Now I'm going to set this aside. Remember, this is compost, this is cocoa peat. I want to see how they fare. I've never done this before, so you're going to be seeing the results together. This is where I'm going to set up my nursery. This is where I'm going to lay the seedling trays and let the seeds grow from here. Because as you can see, I'm just putting them beside this cabin. But I know most of the seed raisers do this in a greenhouse environment. But of course, if you have budgetary constraints, you don't have to stop you from doing it. You don't have to break the bank, to establish your seeds in seedling trays. So what I've done, I've just put them just beside this cabin, as long as they're protected from the elements, especially rain. I believe they'll do well. Then you do your watering. You can use either a watering can or a knapsack. So these are very delicate. You need to be careful when using the watering can so that it doesn't, mess up your setup. But if you just to be safe, you can use a knapsack until at least the seeds have sprouted. Just with soap, doesn't there'll be no water logging. Just keep it just like that. As simple as that. Or you can use a knapsack. Yeah, also ensure that your seeds are elevated, that they're not touching the ground, so that when the roots are established, they are not limited. Nothing will be constraining the roots from establishing. So there we are. So we'll be following up and see the progress of our seedlings. What I've done here, you notice, is this one here that I've marked with this paper here. This one that I've used cocoa peat, and then the others I've used the compost. So we'll be checking the progress and see whether there will be any difference. So remember, this is one that I've used cocoa peat, and this one, and the others are compost. So we'll be following up to see the progress and see how they fare. So here we are, 2 weeks later after sowing the seeds on the trays. Exactly, let's say 15 days. Exactly 15 days after that, here we are. Cabbages have sprouted. Remember, this is a tray, the one that I had marked. This is the one that has the cocoa peat, and then we can check out the rest that had the compost. And yeah, I'm sure you can easily see that there's a huge difference. Okay, the germination was not that good probably because of the seeds. The seeds are quite old. It was an opened pack that I've been using severally. So it's all about the germination here. I'm looking at the health of the seedlings. You can see the ones on the cocoa peat are still coming up slowly, but here the ones with on compost, they're even already on the fourth leaf stage. Yeah, coming up very fast, aggressively, and going huge. You can see there's a very huge difference. This is exactly what I wanted to find out, because I know at least the compost there's some nutrients, but for the cocoa peat there's basically no nutrients. But okay, starting from now, at least every 3 days I'll be topping up with some seaweed foliar for all the trays, so you can see how it goes. Because this is it. This is the progress so far. 2 weeks later, after sowing our seeds, this is how they look. So keep it farmed. We'll be following up to see how it will look 4 weeks later. That's exactly time when we'll be ready to transplant. So thank you for watching. Till the next one, happy farming.